Now, the rest of the story.
All right, welcome back. Now, really wasn't planning on working on the disc bind quite yet, and to be honest with you, I probably won't. But I did go ahead and actually bring it back up to the farm, mainly because I took the chisel plow down to my place, and it just made sense to save the trip. I hooked onto the disc bind and brought it back up. But I noticed, I'm just starting to look at it here now, something I didn't do last fall that, maybe I should have. Well, it's not really the end of the world, but this is the state the blades were in when we got done using it last year, which I think was the first week of September. So this blade right here, if you're wondering what happened, that's why it's all chewed up. It was spun over once, which these blades are meant to be, and that is pretty much a product of less than an acre left to cut, and it wasn't leaving too much of a ribbon, if any at all. So they'll actually do a pretty good job of cutting, even though they do look terrible. The plan is I'm going to go through, pull all the blades out, and get new blades ordered. We don't keep as many on stock as we used to. Don't cut as many acres as we used to be fair. But the plan is, it's already been greased last fall before we put it away. I did at least make sure I went and did that. It was washed off, and the only thing it looks like I really didn't do was just change the blades, and I can do that in like 15 minutes. You get pretty good at it. I'm going to go through and grease it again, but it does look like the dragon has shown up and given us a hydraulic oil leak, because this pump of oil was not here last fall. And I think it's in the, I think it's in the lift cylinder line actually, but it's not the end of the world. I've already replaced one of those probably 5-6 years ago. Grandpa bought this disc bind back in 2008, and the bugs are terrible. I like it. I like the swivel hitch design compared to just doing the standard hitch design where you put the extension off, or you bolt the extension plate onto the hitch and then you hook the disc bind up to that. Too much messing around. I can hook this thing up and go in under 10 minutes, and you can turn so much better too. So I'm going through, this is my little cheater tray of parts that I keep in the tractor, because try as you might, you are going to hit stuff and break stuff and bend blades, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to be probably as far away from the farm as you were planning on getting for the day. So I do have brand new blades in here already for each direction. I'd also went through when I changed the blades out, because last year I did go through, I think it was going into third crop, I went through and I replaced all the blades again. So all the blades that either weren't flipped over or were still in fairly good condition, yeah, it's got a little bend to it, but in a pinch, it'll still cut. So I do have a bunch of spare blades here. I mean, if it still works, I mean, why throw it away? The reason I like to have spares on me is when you're going and making your first, in first crop, going through and making your first pass, all of the rounds is, say, along where the corn and the beans are, or even along new seeding where you're cutting, the disc, the tillage tools back there. I got to keep talking, move, because these things bugs are gonna carry me away. On your outside rounds, what ends up happening is dirt gets kind of thrown out into the hayfield, so your outside turtle shell, your outside blades tend to eat a lot more dirt, and it's always good practice, at least until you're done with first crop. Second, third crop, fourth crop, it's so much easier, but first crop, you tend to eat a little bit more dirt, rocks, whatever else. And having spare blades on in the tractor is huge. It's very important. I won't deny it. I'm actually guilty of not having the proper parts or spare parts on in the tractor when I needed it. So I try to do as much of the preventative stuff as I can. This isn't going to need a whole lot of work. I mean, it might seem like it. I got to trace that hydraulic hose. I don't know if it's just a loose fitting, which I highly doubt. My guess is more than likely it is a hose that is probably worn or vibrated through somewhere on here, and probably has a small leak on it. The tires are fine. Check the air pressure. I actually changed out the cutter head oil last crop last year, so that oil is not very old. And I do like to change it at least once a year. I'll probably do it after first crop this year. Kind of a cheating kind of thing. When you get used to running this, I'm really good at swiveling the whole machine over so I could fit it into the machine shed. We did miss a pretty good shower, I was told. It was like completely storming, and they got like an inch of rain like 2 miles north of us, and all we got was just little spritz. Not much to amount to anything. If I thought that we could have 4 or 5 days of decent weather, I would go through, use up all of my spare blades and all of my new blades that I currently have in my tray, change out every blade that I would have to change out, and I would be cutting hay right now. The ground is soft, but if I had, I really got to keep moving here. If I really thought we had enough time to go through and get a bunch of first cut knocked down on the ground, I would do it in a heartbeat. It really just depends on the amount of time we have to do it. I got to go through. Yes, I still not done the grain drill yet. I have to get that bar welded up. I'll probably do it tomorrow. I think tomorrow's gonna be more of a work in the shed kind of day. Today got away from us, and I just want to go through and try to get some of this stuff up and ready to run. I mean, yeah, the 46 is still on the corn planter. The reason for that is we do have some soybeans, which everything is coming up, but I just want to be certaintied that everything is going to be up and out of the ground, because I was burned 2 years in the past with putting the planter away, and then 2 days later I had to pull the planter back out and get it all ready to run again, and I end up putting in replant. So if it takes leaving it sit in the machine shed for a while, so be it. I gotta get the cultivator up here because I do have a bunch of liquid in the planter yet that I gotta do something with. Yuck, I just swallowed a bug. The tender tank is gone, so what I'm gonna do is drain out the fertilizer that's in the planter, transfer it over to the cultivator, and that's actually part of the mix that we're going to be putting down, plus a bunch of other stuff, which it'll mix in with the fertilizer mix once I get it, when I go to side dress. Yeah, I got to give you guys a little bit more of an in-depth run around to that cultivator. I've had a lot of people ask me how I got that set up, which it is fairly simple and straightforward. Myself, I would really like to go buy like a 4430, 4440, something like that. Soundguard cab, nothing fancy. Narrow it up for 30-inch rows, get a second cultivator, get that set up for fertilizer, and then run 2 tractors cultivating on pulling a 6-row cultivator, and then side dress with 2 tractors and be able to cover that many more acres, because I would like to incorporate more of that side dressing on at least my dad's ground. I don't know how much Ryan is interested in doing it, but some of my dad's ground, I think it would really benefit it. Splitting up that nitrogen, hitting it later in the season, you know, putting it right down next to the plant. But I do have some waterways to put in. That's why I started talking about the grain drill. All depends on how much time we really have to dry out. If we have 2 or 3 days coming and it's dry enough where we can get out and put some waterways in, we'll go do waterways. If it dries out-ish and it looks like we can go through, we have 4 or 5 days. I think 5 days of this current weather pattern is asking an awful lot. But 5 days of decent ish running weather where we think we can get some dry hay made, we'll go through and knock everything we can down like right away and get it tedded out and try to get it baled dry. But the baler, the tedder, is currently buried in the machine shed. That's kind of why I have to go through and move some machinery around also. So yeah, when it comes to summer jobs, I mean, I actually like side dressing, but cutting hay, back when we were milking cows, cutting hay was my favorite summer job. I mean, it was my designated job, to be honest with you. Grandpa, they actually sent me to that tractor driver certification course. If you took that class, you were technically certified as I think it was 14 years old or 15 years old, where you were technically allowed to drive on the roads. I took the certification, and with Grandpa telling me exactly that the reason that he wanted me to take that class is that I was going to be the one that started to cut hay every summer, and I still am. I really like to cut hay. I don't mind round baling, I don't mind raking hay, but I tend to radiate towards running the round baler just because I like to round bale too. So no, it helps to be adaptable too. Ryan can do, Dad can do every single job that we have around here. So that's really good too, so you're not limited to just waiting around for somebody to get back to go do something, to bale or whatever. When we were younger growing up, that's actually how I started round baling. Breeze, keeping the bugs off me. That's how I actually started round baling. I literally jumped in the round baler and left. We were waiting on, it wasn't my dad, we were waiting on somebody to show up, because I went through and I raked all the hay up that morning. We only had, I think, 10 acres cut, but they were saying rain. I went through that morning, got all the hay raked up. We were sitting at the lunch table at noon. I think that was in the greenhouse yet. That was before, that was definitely before the new house was put in. And Grandpa was saying that, oh, I really want to get that hay baled, but he couldn't get a hold of who was supposed to be coming and baling it. I didn't say nothing, because I'm a schemer. And finally I got done eating lunch. Hay was dry. It was about 1:30, I think. I walked out of the house after I got done eating lunch and figured, the heck with it. I was 11 or 12 years old, I want to say. Might have been 13. Went out, jumped in the 2955, pulling that 535 John Deere round baler, and I went to work. And I made, according to Grandpa, some of the better looking bales we had made that summer. So it's a really good compliment when you kind of just take the initiative, go out and do something that you weren't exactly trained how to do. Purely learned how to do it from watching my dad round bale. And that is part of the reason why you guys see me shutting the PTO on and off all the time. That's what we used to do with the 535. It is how I was taught, self-taught growing up. Round baling is one job I don't remember having anybody actually sitting in the tractor telling me how to do it. Really, it's just from watching Dad do it himself. So, and that 535 is nothing compared to this baler we got now. So, same thing, just heavier. So I think it's John Deere 566. So I got to end this because the bugs are literally coming in shifts now. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. The nice warm weather, the fields are starting to get a nice green hue to them. And I would really like to get some dry hay made because we currently only have 4 bales in storage right now. So until next time, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I'll talk to you then.